Ladies and gentlemen, this is Pillar to Post. I'm your host, Pete Wall, and tonight we're going to be talking about many things. But first, I want you to hit that subscribe and the like button. Help this channel grow. I am improving daily, so help a guy out. Now, this is 5 o'clock in the morning, and it is March 18th, I believe. Let me see that for sure. Yes, it is the 18th today. It has been another insomniatic motherfucking night for me. I got 2 hours of sleep and I've been awake ever since. So, this is a day in the life of fucking me. But I took that time to scour the web and bring some content and news to you. What is that content? What is that news? Well, we've got Paige releasing a statement on her private photos that were leaked. Also, Dogg calls bullshit on the Alexa Bliss rumor. As well as Bayley talking about her being very nervous about WrestleMania. Also, JBL deletes tweet regarding Moauro Ronallo. As well as JBL and Ron Simmons to induct Theodore Long into the WWE Hall of Fame. Also, Brock Lesnar schedule after WrestleMania. And following that, we're going to be talking about Roman Reigns commenting on a heel turn. Also, Stone Cold defending pro wrestling from Conor McGregor. Also, backstage news on WrestleMania 34 main event. And plans on Roman Reigns replacing John Cena. And also some Brock Lesnar news. As well as AJ Styles on if he carried Roman Reigns and John Cena to great matches. As well as ripping his tights at TLC in 2016. These are all current articles and interviews going back to March 15th. I'm not sure if it's all been covered before, but I know Paige is hot on the press right now. Everyone's talking about her nude photo leaks. Everyone's talking about her sex tape release, whatever it was. I guess the rumor is right now that it was a hack. Someone hacked into her phone or whatever and just basically shared her personal life with the world. So we're going to start off with that topic to begin the show. And I'm going to read the article first, and then I'm going to go into Paige's statement as well as her mother's. If you're wondering why I'm talking the way I am, like I said, it's 5 in the morning. My wife's in the living room, just a few rooms away from me, and she's sound asleep. I don't want to wake her. So I'm going to try and keep things a little bit low-key at this early morning. So WWE superstar Paige has reportedly become the latest victim of hacked private photos and a video. Fans of WWE worry that because of this reported leak, that Paige will lose her job. Paige is not on the best terms with the company, and having something like this come out to the front of the line will not tighten any strings between the two parties. WWE has had its fair share of issues similar to this. Most recently, WWE announcer Tom Phillips was involved in a scandal where he sent pictures to an alleged mistress. Phillips was not punished publicly, as he still remains on WWE television, and he's not missed a day of work. WWE superstar Seth Rollins was also a victim of circumstances as such, and he won a WWE championship 2 months later. So that kind of tells you that WWE isn't really big on punishing people for this type of thing. She might have issues because she does have her issues with the company to begin with, but I don't see this really ruining anything to do with her career. Honestly, it's not a big deal. I don't know why everyone blows this type of shit out of proportion. I can see a lot of the nerds out there all excited, nude pictures of Paige. She's a beautiful woman. So of course it's going to be newsworthy, and everyone wants to see the pictures and the video. Continuing, the only issue that separates Paige from Tom Phillips and Seth Rollins is she is not on the best of terms with the company, and there may be only so many chances that WWE is willing to give the former Divas champion. Now, earlier today, which would have been March 17th, some nude photos of WWE superstar Paige started making the rounds on the internet. Not long ago, she released a statement through Twitter on the matter. Personal and private photos of mine were stolen, and unfortunately they were shared publicly without my consent. That was from Paige's Twitter account. As of now, that's the extent of her comments on this unfortunate situation. It should go without saying, but Paige is a victim here, and it's terrible she has to deal with this idiocy. She is currently, and idiocy I added, she is currently out of action after getting surgery on her neck, and there is no timetable for her return to WWE television. Her mother also commented on it. I believe it is pronounced Sarah Knight, but I'm not quite sure. But her comment went as follows. People get hacked. Unfortunately, my daughter had pics and video shared from years ago. My husband and I support her 100%. No fault of her own. It is, you know, you can say it's no fault of her own. But why would she still have these videos on her phone or even on her laptop? She is with another new person now. Everyone knows her relationship with Alberto Del Rio or Alberto El Patron. So why continue to carry these videos and pictures around? Doesn't really make sense to me. But they also have to realize this is going to happen to them. They are in the public eye. People want to get the dirt on celebrities. And any WWE superstar is a celebrity. Doesn't matter how bad of a wrestler they are or whatever they are. You are in WWE. The spotlight is on you continuously. So if you fuck up, or if you do stuff like this, people are going to find out. People are going to try and get that info, and they are going to share it just so that way there is news. And it doesn't even matter if it's bad news. It's news about that person. Me personally, I've never made a sex tape. I have never taken nude photos. Not even when I was in my bestest shape. I have never asked my wife to do any of that stuff either. But that is just me. Everyone's got their little fetishes. Try and keep a little bit of a safer lockdown on that, maybe, and you won't have this issue. Other than that, that's all I'm going to speak about it. It's not a big deal to me. Have I seen any of the nude pics yet? No, I haven't, and I'm not going to do a search for them. I've got a beautiful wife. I don't need to go out and search for nude pictures of Paige or any other female wrestler. But then again, that is me. Now, the next article. We got Road Dogg calling bullshit on the Alexa Bliss rumor. Now, I didn't really know there was a rumor at the time about Alexa Bliss, but I guess the rumor was that she has fallen out of the good graces of WWE officials and will be losing her push. And this article pertains to that rumor. So, there was a report going around claiming WWE officials were unhappy with SmackDown's women's champion Alexa Bliss. The website Sportskeeda claims to have sources in the company telling them that while everyone is thrilled with Bliss's character work, her in-ring performance was lagging behind where WWE feels it should be. resulting in the dreaded backstage heat. The rumor gained enough traction, someone brought it to SmackDown producer Brian Road Dogg James. Fortunately for the many fans of Little Miss Bliss, the DOGG shot it right down. And the tweet he commented to was from a fellow podcaster, Joe Cronin, at JCS. Hell no. She is adored by everyone. She's a star, dude, and everyone knows it. This is what's wrong with the internet. Laugh out loud. Hashtag bullshit. Now, I don't know how this rumor got started. Alexa Bliss, she's got a ton of fans. Has she had some bad matches? Sure, every wrestler has a bad match from time to time. But as for this rumor, there's no traction behind it. It's bullshit, just like Road Dogg said. A vote of confidence from any producer should be enough to nip this thing in the bud. One from James, a Triple H confidant, reportedly in charge of the creative team on the Blue brand, is even better. Even Alexa's loudest supporters would admit she's got room to grow as a wrestler. Every wrestler does. If you're not growing as a wrestler, you become stale. And there's a lot of them there around right now. She's only been in the business since 2013, however, and has made great strides both while in NXT and since being a somewhat surprising draft choice last summer. The idea the company would be down on her when they just made her a two-time title holder before she's even been on the main roster for a full year is pretty crazy. I would say so. If you are that quick to lose confidence in your top stars, you got problems. So, rumors are around. Everyone can make assumptions, but in the end, you're going to make an ass of yourself, especially when the rumors are bullshit like this one. Not much to really say about it. I think Road Dogg nipped it in the bud, just like the article said. He made a reply on Twitter to make sure that people understood this is bullshit. There's no traction behind it, so drop it. Bayley on being nervous about WrestleMania. Now, before I'm even going to go into the article, I'm going to say this. If you are not nervous about going to the grandest stage of them all in the wrestling business, and we're all expecting a pretty bad WrestleMania, considering that the last few have been pretty bad, it should not make a difference how bad it's been as of late. You should be nervous. You have got the world looking at you to put on the best show you have ever put on in your career. Every WrestleMania is like this. If you drop the ball, you are going to be stoned. Not literally, but figuratively. Every wrestling fan, when they watch WrestleMania, they are expecting every wrestler on that show, doesn't matter what match it is, that they get the best quality and the best match of that wrestler's career. Be it tag team, be it women's match, be it cruiserweight, or be it a heavyweight title match. It doesn't matter what it is. You should be nervous. That nervousness, that little bit of fear will help you. In my eyes, if you're not nervous, you've got issues. Because you've got the wrestling world looking down at you, waiting for you to fuck up. Waiting for someone like me, Rusty, Joe Cronin, JD from New York, waiting for you to fuck up so we can talk about you and talk shit about you, because we're not afraid to. We will do it. But the article goes as such. she may have missed out on the first wave of the Divas Revolution / Women's Evolution on the main roster, but current Raw Women's Champion Bayley's been in some pretty big matches in her career. As big as TakeOver Brooklyn was, however, nothing compares to WrestleMania, especially when you enter the showcase of the Immortals with the title. So it's understandable that the Hugster is experiencing some butterflies, as she told Ontario's Kingston Whig Standard. And this is what she has to say. I'm very nervous. I'm nervous to impress people. I'm nervous to make sure that I can hold on to my title. I'm nervous to impress everyone in the back, to make sure that this isn't my last WrestleMania. Don't worry though, she's channeling it positively and has experience with these kinds of nerves. But it's such a good nerves energy, she says. I've always taught myself whenever I have big matches, I'll just use takeovers for example. Whenever I had a takeover match, right before I went out, I was just a mess. Nerves. Or nervous. I tell myself, if you can't do this, how are you going to do WrestleMania? That's kind of how I got through every match. And every match was okay and I was fine. I've been waiting my whole career for this match, and now it's the time to prove myself and to myself I was meant to be here. Like I said at the beginning of the article, she's got to be nervous. If you're not nervous, you've got an issue. Because we all want the best from you. We want the best from every wrestler on that show. Hell, I want someone to step up in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal to make it interesting. Because I've watched the ones that have been from the past and they sucked. It didn't matter which one it was. They all sucked. It didn't matter who won. It blew chunks. You can also check out the whole interview where Bayley also talks about forcing herself to remember what it was like last year when she was watching the other 3 horsewomen compete at WrestleMania in order to keep perspective. So that was, let's see if I can find that again. Okay, that was Ontario's Kingston Whig Standard. Now, we all seen the tweets from Josh Matthews. We've seen the comments from Taz. Well, I guess JBL had to add his 2 cents in about the whole Moauro Ronallo situation. And he tweeted it and quickly and quietly deleted the comment as well. So, this issue is JBL deletes tweet regarding Moauro Ronallo. The situation on Moauro Ronallo not being at SmackDown Live has garnered interest and suspicion from even some fellow workers like Taz and Josh Matthews. But as it stands, the official reason that Moauro missed the show is because of the weather. Just recently, though, JBL tweeted about Moauro stating, I made the show, everyone made the show, everyone. Maybe he shouldn't have bashed me if he wasn't going to show up. That was JBL's tweet. JBL has since quietly deleted that tweet. Well, obviously he did, because for one, he's a politicking bitch. I've got no respect for JBL. I've never really enjoyed him as an entertainer. I don't like him as a commentator. He's a fucking goof. He's one of those characters that I just want off my TV every time I watch wrestling. Now, obviously he's going to take that tweet down because it's going to cause him to have heat with WWE. So, what's he going to do? He's going to be a bitch. He's going to take it down so that way he doesn't have any waves coming at him from the higher-ups. I don't know where Moauro Ronallo is from, but I know New York City got hit with a really bad fucking storm. ice over everything, I could see people losing flights. Here in Canada, out in Quebec and Ottawa, terrible storm, even truckers weren't moving. So, if a bad storm rolls in, what the fuck is he supposed to do? If airlines are shut down, if transportation is basically impossible to get, what the fuck is the guy supposed to do? I think everybody needs to kind of just suck it up a little bit. He wasn't there. You guys still did the show. Fuck off. JBL and Ron Simmons to induct Theodore Long into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2017. I kind of figured that these guys would be the ones to induct Theodore Long. They traveled with the guy for years. Hell, they're best friends, you know. So it has been announced that Theodore Long will be inducted into the Hall of Fame by his good friends John Bradshaw Layfield and Ron Simmons. The ceremony will take place on March 31st, where it has already been announced that John Cena will induct Kurt Angle on the night as well. So not much news, but it's nice to see that these guys are inducting Theodore Long. There's a lot of speculation what's going on with Brock Lesnar, why he's doing more house shows. He's been appearing more on Raw as of late. And it's not just the fact that he has to kind of hype up his match for WrestleMania. It's also due because his contract is coming up. He had a 3-year contract. I believe he's got 1 year left. He's got dates to meet that he's promised WWE. So let's go into it. As you have noticed, Lesnar's limited appearances on WWE television over his tenure since his return means he has limited dates on his contract. But as of late, Lesnar has been competing at house shows. As last week he competed... I hope that didn't fuck shit up. So last week he competed at a show at MSG against Kevin Owens. If you're wondering what that was, my TV just blacked out for some reason, or my monitor. Don't know what the fuck's going on. Dave Meltzer of F4W Online has revealed Lesnar's upcoming schedule for the remaining time of his contract. The plan in place is that Lesnar will do more shows from this point forward, in what will be the final year of his current 3-year WWE contract, especially since UFC is now clearly part of his past. He's been on TV almost every week and done some house shows of late. The impression we've been given is he will never work a full schedule, but he will work more dates over the next year, as has been shown by his doing more house shows than ever before and working all but one Monday in the last 2 months before WrestleMania. Rumors have hit the internet as it has been reported that the main event planned for or of next year's WrestleMania will include Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. Now that's going to piss a lot of people off if that comes true. For the WWE Universal Championship. Plans do change in WWE extremely often, and the only way to see this, or see if this plan is true, is to wait until next year's WrestleMania season. Concerning the last part there, I watched a lot of podcasts today bitching about that match. If they've actually already booked that match for next year's WrestleMania, that's fucking sad. But we're going to have to see. Shit always changes, especially in wrestling. There's injuries, there's many things that play a factor in everything in the wrestling world. Am I going to have a rant about this? No. I'll wait till later on before it becomes more clear. There's no sense wasting energy, and there's no sense me waking up my wife to have her pissed off at me because I'm flipping out over some rumor of what might happen a year from now. We all know Brock Lesnar's working on his last year of his 3-year contract. We know he's going to have to do more dates. He's scheduled, when you sign a contract with WWE, there is an amount of dates you have to fulfill, especially as a part-timer, to make the boss happy. And those are in your contract. So obviously he's got some time to put in, and he's got no choice. He's got to get those filled out. So what better way? Have some matches at house shows. Maybe work out some storylines to fill in those TV dates. I'd like to see a match with Lesnar and Kevin Owens. And I'm pretty sure I seen one today on YouTube, so I'm going to have to watch that today. I've got all the time in the world. I haven't slept, so why not? The next article, and we just spoke about this motherfucker. Roman Reigns comments on a heel turn. I've already read this article, and I was like, man, you are a lost fucking cause. The things he says in this article, the things he comments on, are ridiculous. He's delusional. I don't know if he was told this is how you to answer, but if he is this delusional that he believes the comments he made in this article are true, we won't see a better version of Roman Reigns in the very near future, or if ever. So this is the article. As most fans are awaiting the heel turn of Roman Reigns to come at WrestleMania, the WWE superstar was a guest on ESPN's Cheap Heat podcast. And during the interview, Reigns was asked about his feelings on a potential heel turn. And these are the words straight out of the bitch Dogg himself. You know, when you win and you're whipping a lot of ass, you're not that angry. I'm being successful. Whatever we have been doing, it seems to be working like motherfucking shit. It seems to continue to have loud reactions. Nobody has been to more wrestling shows than me and the other guys on the roster. We are at every show. I watch every show and I understand reactions. Obviously, you fucking don't. You can be as informed within the wrestling community and the internet as you want. There's one thing I know, and it is listening to what kind of reaction or reactions are happening. You are a delusional fuck. When I am out there, there is all kinds of noise. There are all kinds of chants. It's pandemonium. I like the mixed reactions. There isn't much of a mixed reaction anymore. It's mainly boos, motherfucker. I like people competing as far as whose reaction is going to be louder, the boos or the cheers. I just want to bring out the most in the fans and give them an opportunity to rage. You're lucky you haven't been right on, you motherfucking cunt. Honestly, that's bullshit. For a guy that's supposed to be the babyface and you're enjoying having your fans boo you, John Cena can make it work. He's actually getting more cheers now than boos. You, on the other hand, are mainly getting booed out of every fucking arena you step into. The article concludes, Reigns is set to clash with The Undertaker at WrestleMania 33 and already being one of the more disliked superstars in the company as a babyface. A heel turn will possibly provide Reigns with new life. Possibly, if done correctly. If they are going to botch it, or if it's only going to be a one-night thing against The Undertaker, I'm sorry. You fucking lost everyone. There's been so many different people ranting on the whole Roman Reigns babyface situation. Should there be a heel turn? Yes, there should be a heel turn, but it should be massive heel turn. I read an article, X-Pac stated that, what's the difference? This isn't the 1980s anymore. Why should someone do a heel turn? Why should someone do a face turn? That is the wrestling world, motherfucker. I don't care who you are. If you're X-Pac, if you're Hulk Hogan, every superstar has done this. Every superstar has gone either from heel and transgressed to a face, and sometimes even gone back. Dolph Ziggler has done it a little bit too often. Hulk Hogan even went heel. And then the fans brought him back, and he was, once again, the immortal Hulk Hogan, instead of the NWO Hollywood Hogan. Bret Hart eventually went heel. You know, the list goes on and on. Every superstar in WWE or around the wrestling world has had to go through this. With some wrestlers, it betters their character. Look at what it did for The Rock. The Rock came in as a huge babyface. He did not go over at all. The fans hated him. The fans hated his moppy hair, the stupid gimmicky outfit he was wearing. They hated the whole 3-generation gimmick that they slapped on him. Yes, he is a third-generation superstar. But they decided to have him come out as Rocky to honor his father, and Maivia to honor his grandfather. Did not do him any good. He spent a little bit of time in Nation of Domination, broke away from there, and became The Rock that we all know. The list, like I said, the list goes on and on. It needs to happen. It needs to happen the right way. It can't be done haphazardly and just for a few nights, and we're back to seeing him as he is now. That's all I can really say about it. You know, it's I could go on and on, but why? Why? It's a lost cause. Vince McMahon's got such a hard-on for this motherfucker. It's ridiculous. Now, Stone Cold Steve Austin recently decided to, he was on a podcast, and I guess the question was brought up about Conor McGregor, and this happened last summer, where he went off on Twitter about WWE superstars being pussies. So, during this podcast, he was asked some questions, and he defended pro wrestlers from Conor McGregor. So, the article reads, if you were not aware, last summer WWE superstars got into a war of words with UFC fighter Conor McGregor. McGregor called wrestlers pussies, saying that he could slap the head off of Vince McMahon's entire roster. Kind of have to laugh at that. But the guy likes to build heat. The guy likes to have the spotlight on him all the time. Although WWE legend Stone Cold was just a couple of months late to the party, he stood frontline in defending professional wrestling in his interview on the Big Brown Breakdown podcast. And these are his words. But if anybody in the UFC or MMA world ain't got no respect for pro wrestling, just the lifestyle and brutality of it, I would invite you to take your training camp to a different town and train in a different town every day, just like the WWE people do. Then go home on a couple of days we give you, and then go back on the road, take that training camp, and get ready for a big ass fight. When you throw the travel in, you ain't got no posse taking care of your ass. You're doing it solo. Go do that, do it for 10-15 years, and then report back to me, because I want to see what the science and the lifestyle taught you about what the fuck we do. He goes on to say, the backdrops, all the throws off the turnbuckle, all that shit is like interest. It compounds daily. People look at that mat. Hey, it looks like a trampoline. Fuck you. It ain't no trampoline. You land wrong, your vertebrae, and everything gets twisted up. So, I do have to agree with the redneck. You know, the guy has done it all. He has wrecked his body. Look at all the old timers now. A lot of them, they can barely walk. Look at Mick Foley. He's going in for hip surgery. I don't know how many hip surgery and back surgeries Hulk Hogan has gone through. I don't know how many surgeries Stone Cold himself has gone through. Many. We've got current WWE wrestlers on the roster right now that have had neck surgeries, knee surgeries, back surgeries. You name it, they've gone through it. So anyone to shit on these guys for the... Yes, it is a work. The wrestling industry is one big work. It is a storyline. It is predetermined. But being thrown in the air and landing and being tossed off the top ropes and landing on the outside on the floor, it fucking hurts. I have done a little bit of it. I have done a little bit of training in pro wrestling. It fucking hurts. It hurts to be hip tossed if you land the wrong way. Even landing flat on your back and doing it correctly, it still hurts a little bit. So, anyone to say MMA fighters and UFC fighters are better than pro wrestlers, well, you know what? They don't have the demanding lifestyle any pro wrestler has. Not much of a news bit, but I do like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Anything he's got to say, it should be newsworthy. So, backstage news on WrestleMania 34 main event plans. Roman Reigns replacing John Cena, and a little Brock Lesnar. We're just a few weeks away from WrestleMania 33 in Orlando, but the Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that WWE officials already have a match planned for the main event of WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans. Or New Orleans. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE Universal title. Reigns is scheduled to face The Undertaker at WrestleMania 33, while Lesnar is challenging WWE Universal Champion Bill Goldberg, but plans for next year do not mean Reigns is going over Taker or that Lesnar will hold the title for a full year, the Observer notes. We talked about this a little bit earlier, and you know what I have to say about it. To me, right now, it's rumor. It's got a whole year to percolate. I'm hoping that shit changes because I don't want to see that match. WWE has tried to make Reigns the top babyface for a few years now, but the goal is still very much to make Reigns the next John Cena of the company. They are once again looking at building Reigns up for a whole year for coronation at WrestleMania 34, and the idea between now and then is for Reigns to replace Cena as the new face of the company, not just when he wins the title. Wow. They need to get rid of that senile motherfucker that's running the company. Honestly, Vince McMahon's got to go. Regarding Lesnar, the current plan is for him to work more dates in what will be the final year of his 3-year deal. It's believed Lesnar will never work a full schedule, but he will work more shows over the next year. Live events and TV tapings. Went over this a little bit earlier. You know, this whole idea about them putting this motherfucker in WrestleMania 34 against Brock Lesnar. I really don't want to see either of these two headline another WrestleMania. Honestly. I don't want to see it. It's a bullshit match. No one wants to have any part of it. Not any of us viewers want to see it. Unless they let Roman Reigns go heel and it goes over so fucking good that at WrestleMania 34 he does some sort of face turn against Brock Lesnar. I can only see that working if the storyline went correctly and the fans actually backed Roman Reigns as a heel. Right now he's got heel heat, but in a very bad way. He needs heel heat in the correct way, the good way. Right now he's just hated flat out. If you're not a little kid or a little girl that loves him, you're an adult or a teen and you fucking hate the motherfucker. And he's got more haters than lovers. AJ Styles on if he carried Roman Reigns and John Cena to great matches. Also about ripping his tights at TLC. And I'm sorry, I am smoking on my podcast. I am trying to quit, but it is a work in progress. Now, recently on the Sam Roberts Wrestling Podcast Prime Time, Sam Roberts interviewed former WWE Champion AJ Styles. Among other things, Styles talked about ripping his tights at WWE TLC 2016 and whether he carried fellow WWE superstars Roman Reigns and John Cena to great matches. My comments about him carrying, you know what? I've always believed in any wrestling match it takes 2 or 4, being a tag team or singles, depending on that, or if it's a triple threat. If it's a singles match, it takes 2 to make that match great. If they are not working together correctly, there's going to be botch after botch after botch. You have to trust your opponent. Because in real life, he is not your opponent. He is your partner. When you step in that ring, that man is more your partner than your opponent. So you have to trust that the moves, the risky moves that you want to make the match more impactful, you have to trust your partner or opponent to carry it out and do it correctly. Or both of you could be injured. So, yeah, Style has the charisma to make a match better just being in there with that person. But it also takes his opponent to help him complete those moves and do them correctly in order to make it look good and make us get on the edge of our seats. The article goes on, and he's going to talk about his tight ripping situation at TLC first. On the subject of his tights being ripped, Styles said his TLC opponent Dean Ambrose told him his ring gear was ripped during the match. Additionally, the Phenomenal One said that he was proud that the match was entertaining enough to keep the focus of the audience on the in-ring product rather than his exposed butt cheek. Well, I remember going through those chairs and going, ouch, man. That really hurt my butt. I guess he doesn't like to say ass. I remember thinking that and just going on with the match. And then I think it was after Dean went through the table, he was like, oh, bro, you're going to need new tights. You're going to need some new gear. And I was like, oh, man. And I knew it was ripped. I didn't know how bad it was, but I was like, well, what are we going to do? You've got to keep going. Like there was this huge tear and my butt cheek was showing. People kind of forgot about it after what we'd done and the finish and whatnot. So I feel like I've accomplished something when I get people not to focus on my butt cheek hanging out and still watching the match. Styles clarified that the incident must not be considered a wardrobe malfunction, as his ring gear was functioning properly. I guess he had to add a little bit of funny in there. A lot of people were saying it was a wardrobe malfunction. Not true, not true. That would be saying that the guy that does my stuff didn't do it right and the seams popped off. No. A metal piece of the chair sliced my gear and my butt. My butt was bleeding. So, it was not a wardrobe malfunction. I just want to make that clear. So, those who were wondering about that match, it was not a wardrobe malfunction. I've seen the match. I knew it wasn't a malfunction. During the podcast, Styles modestly stated that he does not carry any of his dance partners, and he did not carry Reigns in their fantastic match of 2016. Yeah. No, stop here. My wife's talking to me. No. Yeah, I couldn't sleep, so I'm doing a podcast. So, it's just not sleeping peacefully.
I said I woke up 3 times and wondered where you were.
I didn't want to disturb you, so I came back here. Get some more sleep, beautiful.
Continue on.
Nope. So that was my beautiful wife, Shannon. I did not wake her up, thankfully. It was just her bad sleeping habits. So, continuing on with the story. AJ Styles goes on to say, listen, I don't carry anything. I just try to do my part. Roman Reigns and I knew this going into it, how great he could be, and giving to him and trusting him with the spots we were going to do. And I think that had a lot to do with it. And I really thought, holy cow, he's a lot better than anybody thinks he is. Like, Roman Reigns is great. Now, these comments could be skewed in order to put over Roman Reigns. He is in WWE. If he goes and shits all over Roman Reigns, he's going to get in trouble. So, but like I said at the top of the show, it takes two to tango. And it doesn't matter if it's dancing, wrestling, or whatever. If your partner is not working with you properly, you're going to fuck up. If anyone remembers that match, it was a pretty damn good match. AJ Styles looked good. Roman Reigns looked good. Not everyone works well together, and it's very noticeable, especially in wrestling. Moreover, Styles claimed that he did not carry Cena either, and that Big Match John is willing to do anything to make a match great. The Georgia Pitbull went on to say that a match between himself and a broomstick would probably fail to deliver. Well, obviously. John Cena's great. John Cena is willing to do anything and everything to make sure a match comes out as good as it possibly could be. It's always come down to two people. I've heard it said, and it's flattering. If they put me in there with a broom, I can have a great match, and it's not true. It won't be entertaining whatsoever, but I'll give it my best shot. So, those were AJ's thoughts about carrying wrestlers in a match. Now, every now and then, one wrestler does have to pick up the pace. Sorry for the smoking in there. They have to pick up the pace a little bit. Help a weaker performer look better. It has been that way in wrestling for years. But look at John Cena now compared to what he was doing. He is actually he is constantly adding new moves to his repertoire. He's doing things he's not usually seen doing. His submission move, the STF, looks fucking terrible. It's bad when his girlfriend makes her similar submission move look more painful than he does his own. Case in point, Nikki's match against Natalya, where it looked like she was trying to put the heel of Natalya's foot into Natalya's ear. I can't remember what the hell her... I think it's the Fearless Lock or something like that. But it's very similar to the STF. So, he needs... I think he needs to come up with a different submission finisher. Something that looks a little bit more realistic. A little bit more painful. In my opinion. Styles, he's always been a great performer. He makes every match look pretty damn fucking good. So, I can't shit on anything he says in this interview. That is going to be the last article for tonight, or I should say this morning. It's still dark out here. It's probably fucking cold as hell outside. I'm going to call it basically a day. If there's any more news that comes out after around 9ish, I'll probably report on it later tonight or tomorrow morning. I'm trying to give you more content. I hope I'm doing that. I'm hoping I'm making it a little bit more entertaining. I'm sorry I had to be a little bit quieter, a little bit more docile this interview or this podcast. But when I've got sleeping fellows in the house, I have to respect that. Just because I can't sleep doesn't mean they shouldn't sleep. So, you all have a good day, and I hope to see you soon again. Bye.